If you just look at the October headlines for Bonneville County, it looks like prices are jumping again. But if you're buying or selling right now, that one number can actually be pretty misleading. Hi everyone, it's Jacob Markovitz, the realtor here in Idaho Falls. I help people relocate to Eastern Idaho and make sense of the market. So let's break down what's really going on behind the October market stats. Let's start with the basics. October of 2025 compared to October of 2024 comparison, because that's what most people see. In October of 2024, the average sales price was $425,000. In October of 2025, the average sales price was $460,000. So on paper, that's about an 8% increase in just 1 year. If you only saw that, you might think, okay, prices are ripping again. But when we zoom out and look at the last 90 days, the story softens quite a bit. Over the last 3 months, the average sold price was about $440,000. October by itself was $460,000, so October is on the high end of the recent range, not the whole new normal. That's why I like to pair the monthly headline with the 90-day trend. Otherwise, October alone can make it look like things are running hotter than they actually are. Now let's layer in the pricing snapshot you don't see in most reports. What's for sale versus what's going under contract versus what's actually closing. Right now in Bonneville County, the average listing price is around $560,000. The average pending home is around $402,000, and the average sold home is around $439,000. So what does that mean? It doesn't mean each seller is starting at $560 and then dropping to $440. These are different homes. What it does tell us is a lot of the inventory sits at the higher price points, while most of the buyer activity is happening in that low to mid 400,000 range. So there's a bit of a mismatch between where sellers are stacked and where buyers are actually writing offers. To see what's really happening on individual deals, we have to look at how a typical listing moves from list price to sales price. Original list price, about $457,000. Final list price after reductions when a home goes under contract, about $446,000, and a final sales price of about $439,000. So the average home is dropping maybe $10,000 to $11,000 before it goes under contract, then selling a few $1,000s under that final number. That lines up with the percentages. Homes are averaging about 98.5% of the final list price and about 96.4% of the original list price. So we were talking about a 3 to 4% negotiation window on a typical sell, not some giant crash. When you break it down by price range, this all makes more sense. Under $500,000, still the strongest part of the market, highest pending ratios, and closing very close to list price. From $500,000 to $800,000, it's more balanced. Homes are selling, but buyers are picky and strategy matters. Above $800,000 to $1 million, months of inventory jump way up, which means more competition for sellers and more options for buyers. So again, it's not that the whole market is either blazing hot or crashing. Different price points are behaving differently. If you're a buyer right now, you have more choices than we've seen in years, about 3.4 months of inventory. You've got some negotiating room, you're not typically competing with 15 different offers anymore, but the good, well-priced homes, especially under $500,000, are still moving pretty quickly. So you don't have to panic, but you also can't sleep on something that's clearly priced right. If you're a seller, pricing off of what you heard your neighbor got in 2021 is a recipe for disaster. The market is rewarding homes that are priced correctly from day one and show well. Those are still getting strong, clean offers. The homes that start too high are the ones that end up doing a couple of price reductions and taking longer to sell. So your strategy matters more now. Pricing, condition, marketing, and how your home compares to the rest of the inventory in your price range. If any of this has you wondering how it actually applies to your situation, whether you're thinking of buying, selling, or relocating here, I'd love to help you figure it out. The easiest next step is to grab a spot on my calendar for a quick 30-minute consultation call. We can look at your price range or neighborhood together and make sure you're not just reacting to a headline. Just click the link in the description and pick a time that works for you. It's completely free and there's zero pressure. I'd love to help you find your place in Idaho.